Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back as always to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to die less in Deadlock. And if you feel like you've been having a lot of trouble with dying a lot, or for whatever reason it feels like the whole enemy team is just collapsing on you, or you're the only one taking any damage in the team fights, how to avoid that and things we can be doing to counter that to make sure that type of gameplay isn't happening to us and we're having more fun in our games. So without further ado, let's get into some ways you can stop dying in Deadlock. So the first tip that I got for you today, guys, is to look at more than just your crosshair. And there are a lot of things that happen on the screen that are just as, if not more important than where you're aiming. A lot of times you're not in a fight, and so you should be looking at other things than where your crosshair is pointed. Make sure to keep your eyes looking around the screen at all times. Like, kind of when you're driving, think about it this way. You don't look through the windshield 100% of the time. You're checking your mirrors, checking your blind spots, looking at all that type of stuff to make sure you got all the information to make sure you keep yourself safe. Think about it kind of similarly. The number one thing you want to be looking at is the map, and that's the most important thing. The map's going to tell you all the positioning information you need. Make sure to avoid pushing one lane deep into enemy territory alone, or if you leave yourself isolated at all, you want to avoid that at all costs. And that's because this opens you up to have other players easily rotate behind you from other portions of the map. This is going to be a lot of ways that new players die. If you ever feel like you have a death where you're like, oh, of course their entire enemy team just shows up at once just to kill me. They're all here just for me. This is probably why, because you're probably a little bit too far ahead of the other lanes on the map, and it made it very easy for other players to come in from behind you. The next one's the health bar, and everybody kind of knows how important the health bar is. The second you start playing any video game, the first one you pick up, you know how important the health bar is, as opposed to kind of the map, where new people to competitive games kind of need to pick up and learn along the way how important it is to really be paying attention to that map and the information that I can kind of give you. But everybody knows how important it is to stay alive. But like I mentioned at the very beginning, there is a lot of stuff that is going on your screen, so it can be tough to actually be paying attention actively to your health bar and where exactly you're at. And because of that, I've been playing a little bit more reserved in Deadlock as opposed to kind of other games, because your health can change very rapidly. And so anytime I get to below half health, I'm going to play a little bit more passively in any situation that I'm doing, whether I'm jungling or I'm just in the laning phase. I'm going to go back to maybe pressuring the Guardian. I'll stand on the bridge for now. I'll have an escape plan, an easy way to get out, so that if the situation gets any lower, if the situation gets any worse and my health gets any lower than that, I'm going to look to actively heal in some way. And in the early game, that's going to be the heal troopers. For me, that's really my favorite. A lot of people do love healing right. Personally, I think the heal troopers, and combined with extra regen, that's enough. The heal troopers really give a lot of HP back, and then combined with extra regen, that's if you just kind of hang out under your Guardian and play defensively and push the wave back, that's usually enough for me to regen enough to where I can get to half health, and I can play a little bit more passively, and then push back to eventually, bring the lane back to an even fight. And then the late game, the healing opportunities are a little bit more harder to come by sometimes, because lifesteal is usually not enough to quite get you back up to full, and if it isn't, you are going to just go back to base. And by lifesteal, I mean maybe you're running into a jungle to use bullet lifesteal, or you've got leech and you can sit back in a team fight and shoot from a distance, but usually you're going to want to just be looking to go back to base if you can't lifesteal your health back up. And then the third one is going to be effects. On the far left side of your screen, the game gives you a timer for how long any active effect effect debuff is hitting you. For example, like a Furnace's Afterburn, or Pocket's Affliction, which is his ultimate, how long that's going to last. It's a bar that cools down. Bridge buffs will be like that. The Rejuvenator timer is also up there. And you can use that information to give you a better idea of where your health bar is going to end up, so you can stay in a fight or run away. And then finally, at the very top of the screen, underneath the little character portraits, there's a little lightning bolt with a timer, radial timer going on. That is the timer for how long a hero has until they get their ultimate ability back. If it's a bright white color and not grayed out at all with the little radial timer going around, they have their ultimate and it's ready to be used. So that's just a little piece of information you can use to play around and determine, for example, if you're going to get the Rejuvenator, if Abrams can ultimate in the middle of you and then stun everybody. Very useful information to have in certain moments like that. And so those are the things on the screen that I'm looking at to make sure that I have all the information that I need for my positioning or whether I should be fighting or flighting. The second one is know the enemy heroes, and I don't really mean know Abrams' third ability's second upgrade. I really don't mean that, but I just mean know their strengths and know what that character usually likes to do as it comes to the playstyle they like to have. For example, Vindicta, gonna try and stay far away from you and shoot at you from a distance. Abrams is trying to gonna get up close and punch you in the face. And this is gonna give you some information on how you should be playing in order for you to stay alive. So, for example, right, if Vindicta's in your area and you have 600 HP, she can hit you with her ultimate from anywhere on the map, and as long as she can see you, she's going to do the full amount of damage, and she can instantly clear you of 600 damage, no problem. So you're in danger of death there. If you are pushed super far into the enemy territory alone and Wraith is missing on the map, you're in danger of death because her abilities are built on catching you off guard and bursting you from 100 health to 0 before you can really even fight back. Or if Abrams is 10 feet away from you and you're inside his little circle, right, you're honestly probably already dead. So you want to avoid that at all costs. And so just those are the kind of things that you want to keep in mind as opposed to just playing your default playstyle every time. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, but you want to really make sure you don't play into the enemy and you make their life difficult instead of easy. You want to try and prevent them from playing how they want to play and enable your ability to play that you want to play. Speaking of making the enemy's life difficult, you want to put a little bit of effort into countering the enemy, and you don't want to buy the same items every game. 70% of them or so are probably going to be the same every game, but don't be afraid to switch it up a little bit to directly or indirectly make the enemy's life a lot more difficult. Improved bullet and improved spirit armor are the #1 things that I see people miss. If you are watching this video, you should be buying this. It is super duper useful, and you'll be surprised even your DPS characters how much damage they can actually take once you start adding this to your kit. Another item that's super useful, or another couple actually, knockdown if you've got a Grey Talon or a Vindicta that's super high up and really annoying, or a Bebop that's using his ult and being a real pain. If you've got Haze and just ulting in the middle of every team fight you got, buy Metal Skin. This is stuff that's like super simple that you can use to just completely shut down a lot of people's playstyles, right? Or a lot of people's builds. So make sure you're using that, and you can really frustrate the enemy, and then they've got to work on countering them. So you can really, really ruin someone's day and really impact your games by doing this type of stuff. And so the fourth and final one is a little bit of a carryover from a couple videos ago, if you will allow it, but just don't chase kills. And by this, generally don't chase kills. There are some exceptions. This goes hand in hand with the map tip though, really. A lot of people get tunnel vision when they see a low health enemy. You are going to see this a million times. I mean, from the day 1 to day 1,000 of playing Deadlock and even further. People who just get tunnel vision and chase you into an unknown area of the map. You do not want to be doing this, because another hero, it's super easy for someone else to come either rotate another person to help you, or in the worst case, they're even using the low health enemy hero as bait, where you then will have to fight 2 people. And so if you're chasing a kill, you need to make sure that it's into an area of the map that you're aware of and you know that there isn't going to be another enemy hero ready to aid them, or if you are, just be ready to fight. You got to be ready to go and fight 2 heroes then, or maybe even 3 or 4. That's really the danger. You're going into the unknown, so it's best avoided. Don't chase kills. And that's all I got for you this time, guys. I really appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video and all the support on the Deadlock content over the past few weeks. And if you did enjoy this one, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscription. You know, we're getting so close to 100 subscribers. It's making me so excited. I can almost taste it. And so if you would subscribe and get us close to that goal, I would much appreciate it. And so I hope you have a fantastic week, guys. I won't hold you around any longer. I will see you again next weekend. Let's get after it. Peace.